and welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm Jason Walker with a black tea ready to go. Going to go ahead and get started. Usual equipment here for a Chinese black tea. A Gaiwan is very handy. Scooping out enough here to cover the bottom, say inch and a half diameter. Now, a professional tea taster might use a professional cupping set, or a cupping set that has a cup with a handle, a lid, a small cut into the rim of that cup. But the concept is based upon the Chinese Gaiwan. I'm adding enough water here. My water's been brought to an early boil as usual. I'm going to add enough water so a little bit's going to rest above the rim of the lid. So all that to just kind of say, this is the earlier expression of the professional tea taster's equipment. Okay, let me let that steep for a moment and introduce this tea. This is from Teavivre. I've got a sample here actually. This is a SuperfineTanYangGongFu black tea. It is TanYangGongFu is one of the main and most well-known black teas from Fujian province. You can get a 14-gram sample currently on the website for $4. That's 2 packs of 7 grams each. This was harvested March of 2013. It is from the traditional village of the TanYangGongFu, which sometimes becomes Panyang Tongo in Fujianese, and sometimes the Fujianese gets written out as is and becomes Panyang or something like that, Tongo, but it's TanYangGongFu in Mandarin. And so this is from the Tanyang village in Fu'an, Fujian province, China. So I'm going to be able to talk about this tea, the dry leaf, the wet leaf, and the liquor. Starting off here, I want to give a smell of the dry leaf. Exhale. Get some steam. Get some light, dry tobacco leaf kind of smells. I get some malty smells as well. So it's got a sweet malt type of smell. And underneath that is a little bit of a light layer of dried, your lighter colored tobacco leaf, not your darker, sweeter tobacco leaf. If you really want to kind of pick at it there. I'm going to scoop out a little bit here now. Look at these leaves. Looking at these leaves, things that I notice, there's smaller, fine-looking leaves. Percentage-wise, as far as the gold color, in this sample, half or more than half, and I would say it's more towards 55% or so, are that golden color. So this indicates that yes, this is a higher grade. Oftentimes the higher grades have more. One, it has more delicate leaves, younger, more tender leaves. Two, it has more of the golden color. The tips, the gold usually often comes from the very tips that may look silvery white looking on the plant, and as they're processed into black tea, they get more of that gold color. A more mature leaf is going to get that more grayish brown bistre type of color. So these still look fuzzy. You can actually still see the fuzz on those golden buds there, golden tips. Now I want to move on and give this a pour. So I'm going to angle my lid over to the side and pour into my pitcher. Pitchers are great for serving more than one person because as a tea steeps in your Gaiwan, the liquor at the top will be thinner and lighter colored and less strong than what's down at the bottom. So if you're pouring, say 1 cup and the second cup is going to may look darker and have a stronger taste than the first cup. So it's nice to kind of balance that out with what is sometimes called a fairness pitcher. Okay, so setting that to the side, give these a shake and talk about this wet leaf. get malty smells. I get a bit of a raisiny smell, and just in that first whiff, I got something deeper, finer than that. Faint, very brief, but it was a sweet rose oil type of smell, rose type of smell, which was very nice. As this cools, it moves more towards the raisiny element. The malty smells are coming out stronger now. But it's still, it's a gentle smell. It's not excessive. It's not too in your face. So this just is coming across as refined at this point. So I'm gonna pull out a few of the take away a few of the leaf portions that stuck to the lid. There's a nice. These are nice tips that I'm taking out some leaf. Maybe not the entire leaf, but most of a leaf there. You can't tell the very stem end has broken off of this particular. But I'm going to try to flatten this out a little bit so you can get an impression of most of the leaf. Let's see, little bits of pieces. Just a little stem piece. Found that there. More of these. Oops, that was a nice young leaf, but it actually broke in my fingers. Pretty delicate. Another leaf, portion of a young leaf there. Some larger, slightly or more relatively more mature leaves there. Let me scrape out and just try to get some of these smaller, more delicate. Most of these leaves have curled in on themselves, in towards the middle of the middle vein of the leaf, and I see that quite often happening with the younger, more tender leaves. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Maybe just take out one more and move on then and talk about this liquor. Let me set this aside now and get to the liquor here. Get all the little bits of leaf off my fingers. Get that swirl. Holding that up to the light, it's got a fairly rich color to it. It's a plummy, a plummy reddish brown type of color there. Almost, yeah. I've had some of the deeper purple plums, and when you can actually peel off some of that skin, hold it up to the light, and you do get this kind of dark brownish red, almost purple type color coming through that. Aromas are light at this point. Some maltiness there, but it's light. Very subtle. It's got it's a very thin type of aromas. It's almost it's hard to place, but the malty is the part that carries it the most. Again, gentle. There's something strawy coming out right now. In the back is this aftertaste. I'm beginning to get a little bit more of the malty element there. Astringency is very light. It's surprisingly light for a black tea of this type. Texture. It's smooth, but it's not a heavy, it's not a thick, it's not a powdery type of drying sensation either. It's just quite mellow. It's not watery either. So it's quite gentle. Okay, I'm going to have to give this one another shot. There's a bit of an acidic element here. There's something that's sitting on my. I can already. This is I get what I should say. This is expressing itself in a way that is similar to teas that have an acidic quality. That when they sit on the stomach starts to kind of churn and growl like it's empty. Initially, this is having causing some of that kind of reaction in my mouth as I taste this. There's some similarities there. Yeah, as this cools, and as I get a second sip here, the maltiness is coming out a bit more. There's still a kind of a straw-like component there, which is a bit stronger than the malty aspect. Less, if there is a raisiny component, it's quite subdued at this point. But I'm just now, every once in a while, you get a flash of it in the aftertaste. So when I look at this tea, it's subtle. It's got quite a bit of complexity to it in its range there, and so I would look at this tea and I would give this tea a fairly good score. I'd give this tea a 90. So come back to Walker Tea Review to look for those teas that have the subtlety and the layers and the complexity that you're looking for.